Hola! Today we're going to talk about saludos for our weekly Spanish lesson. A saludo is nothing but a greeting that you would say to another person. And as always, just like you would do in English, you always start off with a hello or a hi. And in Spanish, you would start off with hola. Repeat that. Hola. Very good. The next thing you would say if you were talking to, say, a teacher or a parent or someone you've just met is ¿Cómo está usted? Repeat that. ¿Cómo está usted? And that is the formal way of saying how are you? Um, you don't want to say this, or you always want to say this to someone that you hold in high respect. It's a form of respect to address them in that way. Now the next one is ¿Cómo estás? Repeat that. ¿Cómo estás? That's an informal greeting, and you would say that to a friend or someone that you know very well. So far into our saludo, we have hola y cómo está usted o cómo estás, depending on who you're talking to. Now, when you're asked how you're doing, you answer muy bien. That means very well. Now, you don't always have to be doing very well. And on the blog, you're going to find a link to a variety of other responses when someone asks you how you're doing. Okay. Now, after you have said how you're doing, it's always polite to ask that person. And if that person happens to be a teacher, you would say, "Oh, y usted?" And you? And that's the formal version. Um, so far we have, Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Muy bien. ¿Y usted? Now, if it's a friend, you would say, ¿Y tú? And you? ¿Y tú? And that's the formal way, the informal way, I'm sorry, to reply to someone. Now you would answer back, or that person would answer back, muy bien, gracias. Very well, thank you. And again, not always going to be very well, muy bien, and you'll find other responses on the link. Now, the next thing you want to do, especially if you're just meeting this person, is say me llamo. Okay, so you would say me llamo Miss Kelsey. My name's Miss Kelsey, so that's what I would say, and that's just another way of saying my name is me llamo. I'm called is how it's literally translated. And after that, you would want to know what that person's name is. So you would say, ¿Cómo se llama? Now, that's the formal way of asking someone their name. Again, if you need to know a teacher's name or your principal's name, that's what you would say. Okay, so far we have Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Muy bien, ¿y usted? Me llamo Miss Kelsey, ¿cómo se llama? Okay, now, ¿cómo te llamas? Is what you would ask like for another classmate or someone uh, that, is maybe your same age. That would be the more appropriate person to ask, and that's just the informal way of asking someone their name. Now, the next part of this conversation of a saludo, you're going to talk about where you're from. So you would start out by saying, Yo soy de. Okay, so pretending this is me in the conversation, I would say Yo soy de Evant, and that's the part where you just say to someone where you're from if they're interested. And then the next thing you would say, you would want to reciprocate, and you would say, ¿De dónde es usted? Where are you from? And you can see the form of usted. Usted is the formal way of asking someone a question or addressing someone. So obviously, right here, you're talking to a teacher or a principal. ¿De dónde es usted? And then they would obviously answer you, Yo soy de. And then you would end with encantado or encantada. If you're a girl, you would say encantada because that's the feminine way to answer. And if you are a boy, you would say encantado because that's the masculine way. And that's just another way of saying delighted to meet you. And there's a lot of other ways of saying that. This is just the one as I give as an example, and you'll find the rest of the ways on the blog. Now we're going to start talking about despedidos. But for now, I'm going to let you guys work on your saludos, and then we'll come back and talk about despedidos at another time.